Welcome to another edition of the Sports Show. I'm joined in the studio by a very promising 20-year-old. And what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about karate and combat and future life prospects as well. My guest here today is 20-year-old Jamaal Otto. He comes from a sporting family, and we're going to touch on this subject a little while later as well. He's the current English and British senior karate champion. Welcome to the show.
Nice to be here.
Thanks for joining us today. You're an East Londoner, I take it.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Hackney and later moved to Chingford, but I trained in Bow Mile End, so I've always been around.
You've always been around this vicinity and locality as well.
Yeah.
You're currently studying at university, Jamaal?
Yeah, Coventry University. I study international relations and politics. I'm going into my final year this year.
And how's that going?
Yeah, it's going
Everything's
good.
going smooth?
Yeah.
Okay. What are your career aspirations?
My career aspirations are, I don't particularly know yet, but hopefully the path clears up. Once I finish university, I'll get a better idea.
Well, you forged yourself quite a name as an upcoming fighter, but to be quite specific as well, you've been, should we say, amassing the gongs and silverware over the coming years.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your journey into the world of karate.
Okay, well, I started when I was 7, which is not as young as most people that I know. So some would say it's a little late, but it was okay. I started competing at age 8. I got selected to fight for England when I was 14. So, and ever since then, I've been competing at quite a high level. I must say, over the course of my career, I think I've attained 10 English titles and 12 British titles. So
that's some achievement there. Let's very quickly touch on the achievements of your father. Your father, an absolute legend, Wayne Otto, 9 times world karate champion.
Yeah.
How much of an influence? What do you, first of all, remember about him as you were growing up?
I don't ever actually remember seeing him fight because I was so
Interesting.
young that I can't tell you a time I've seen him fight. But I always knew, he was a great fighter. I was always around the environment from a young age, and I always knew that he was a big name. And obviously, when you're young, you just want to be like your dad.
Of course.
So, yeah.
So he's had a major influence in your life and the path you've chosen as well.
Yeah,
so you might not be quite sure about the academic career you want to pursue, but you're definitely full in when it comes to karate. And obviously your track record so far in your young life has proved as such. How much of an influence did your dad have in terms of the way you fight and your fighting style?
Well, my instructor, Terry Daly, was my dad's instructor.
Okay.
So kind of taught the whole family, my little sister as well. So we have a lot of the same basics and fundamentals. When I first got into the England team, my dad was national coach. So we did a lot of training then. He prepared me for my first Junior European Championships. And then I moved to university when I was 18, so 2 years ago. And I go to Coventry, and my dad lived in Birmingham. So I was traveling to him quite a lot, and we do a lot of training, a lot of work. So I'd say his influence over my fighting grew over that time in the last 2 years, just because we were training so often together.
So you come from great sporting stock, apart from your father, who's a complete legend, as we keep on mentioning on the sports show. Your uncle, Ricky Otto, flying winger for Leyton Orient, is a particular favourite of the legendary manager Barry Fry. He followed him to Southend United for a small fee, and then for those days he played almost, if I remember correctly, almost £1 million, between £800,000 and £900,000 to buy Ricky Otto, transfer him from Southend United to Birmingham City as well. And at that time, Birmingham City were a big team looking for promotion, and they were spending a lot of money as well. And so you come from good sporting stock. Yeah. Let's quickly just talk about your uncle as well, because we are football fans here as well. Yeah. Your recollection, do you have any recollection of his career? Did you ever go and watch him play?
I think I watched him play once when I was really small. But again, like my dad, my memories are very vague.
Of course.
But I remember being around the atmosphere and hearing that it was, because I was still very young. I think when he retired, I was about maybe 3.
Sure.
So I was very young through his career, but I was there, after. So.
And he's had a very interesting change in life and career as well. He's now a pastor in Birmingham. Yeah. He's a man of God now.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we might do at some point is LB24 TV, because we have a Birmingham base, so we might actually go and visit Ricky, if you're watching now, be prepared for a visit from me. I'm a man of God myself, and I would like to share some notes with you and talk about God and faith and religion at some point as well. Right, that's enough about Ricky. Let's get back to you now as well. How excited are you that karate will be featuring as a major sport at the 2020 Olympics?
I find it hard to describe because karate's been trying to get into the Olympics for quite some time and was never able to. And to have like the feeling of it actually being in, it's opened up a whole new branch of opportunities. Like it's a completely new, different dream. Like as a karateka, our main goal was always to be senior world champion, but it's like now there's another step ahead. So it's really just opened up so many more opportunities. My goals have changed greatly. You know, a lot of them have stayed the same, but it's like now there's another level.
There's another level
we're
to aim
trying
for
to
now as well.
attain, yeah.
Just veering away from the Olympics slightly, I'm just going back to what I mentioned at the beginning. So we got the much anticipated, people are going crazy about this now, the much anticipated 10K Karate Clash coming to London next year. Very exciting development. And not just karate fans, just combat fans and fight fans in general. They can't wait. There's huge publicity surrounding it as well, and there's great excitement surrounding this special event coming to London. Yeah. Your thoughts and opinion on the event coming to London and participation in it as well?
Yeah, I love that it's coming to London because I'm a Londoner, and it's a weird feeling being a participant. Just because I remember when the first one was launched and my dad was fighting in it.
Yes.
So, and I was very young. I was about 7. So to think now, 14 years later, I'm now a participant. It's a strange feeling, but an exciting one. Because I said I've never seen my dad fight before. I've actually seen him fight once, and that was at the first 10K Clash. But the truth is I didn't actually watch him fight because I was scared to see him lose.
Right.
Not that I didn't have belief in him, but
Sure.
because at that age I'd never seen him fight,
Yes.
I'd just known that my dad was a big figure. So I was very nervous. So every time he fought, I'd close my eyes. But I remember the feeling of him winning. I remember he shed a couple of tears, and I asked someone, why is he crying? And they were like, no, it's because he's happy. So I strongly remember the night.
Sure.
So it's a good feeling to be able to be a part of it, to be a part of the relaunch.
So 10K Karate Clash is coming to London.
Yeah.
Huge anticipation. There's a lot of excitement, as I've already mentioned there. There's tension, drama. It's all going to be happening. Do you feel under any pressure to emulate the achievements of your father?
Yeah, I think to an extent there will always be a bit of pressure, possibly more applied by myself, because maybe I expect myself to be able to do well. But growing up in the sport, it's been something I've always had to deal with. I think it affected me more when I was younger, when we were kids. Because when we were kids, there was a big fascination. Oh, you're Wayne Otto's son. Then by the time I got to my adolescence, teenage years, I kind of learned to deal with the pressure. And then it kind of came again when I started competing internationally, because then at an international level, everybody was like, that's Otto's son. But now at the age I am now, again, you just learn to deal with it. You know.
So supreme athlete like yourself, Jamaal, can you describe the life you lead in terms of training? Because we've got a lot of younger viewers who are involved in karate or looking to take up a sport like karate. Believe it or not, I've had a few youngsters making inquiries about 10K Karate Clash, which is coming, and we'll be putting the details up on the screen as well. What's a typical day or week for you in terms of training, the diet that you follow, the discipline, the sacrifices that you have to make? Could you describe this to us?
It's an intense lifestyle. Well, it can be at times, especially when training for championships. So if I'm right now, I'm in train. We leave for a World Championships next month.
Okay.
So when I'm at university, it's hard because I'm up at 6 a.m. every morning, training, doing my road work. Then I'll come home, shower, eat. Then I'll go to lectures. Then come back and train again. And then maybe I'll have like an afternoon lecture. And then I'll leave, usually to go to Birmingham to train in the evening.
Sure. Then
come back, sleep, and it just repeats. So it's hard. Like there's small things that hold great importance that you don't really notice at the time, like sleep. Like sleep is so important because if I don't get enough sleep, I won't wake up for my morning session.
Sure. What do you recommend in terms of sleep? So some of the youngsters, I can actually go back to them now and say this. I say, look, you heard this from a champion directly now as well. What would you recommend for youngsters who are following your footpath?
Yeah.
Whether they're your age or a bit younger, if you're looking
Yeah.
at 60s, what would you recommend in terms of sleep, the hours that they must?
I've always struggled so much to sleep, always. And I found that distractions, because you can be distracted from falling asleep. If
Yes.
you've got your phone or you're watching things on YouTube, for me to go to sleep, I have to turn off everything. Like my
Right.
phone has to be off, the light has to be off, and I literally have to force myself to go to sleep because I usually have quite a lot of energy,
Yes.
even at night. So I found when I was growing up, I didn't feel like it played a part being on my phone or watching things, but it does because it keeps you awake. So it is important because even if I go to sleep late, for example, and I do wake up for my morning session, I'm tired and my legs are tired and I'm not training to the best of my ability. Maybe I feel like I'm training to my best, but I'm not training as well as I could be
Sure.
if I had more sleep and more energy. So it does play a great part.
And in terms of your schedule, how many training sessions do you have a week?
It can differ, but ordinarily twice a day, maybe with one rest day. Where on that rest day I'll train once. So, and then on weekends as well. But it depends because sometimes there may be a competition on a weekend, or you may have like a England national training session which consists of more hours. But with uni, especially if my timetable is very intense at the time as well, 2 sessions is the minimum I'll do a day. But there are days, especially going into my 3rd year, my timetable has opened up a lot.
Of course.
So I'll be able to fit like 3 sessions in on the days that I can.
So you recently participated in the World University Karate Challenge Championships. Your experiences?
Yeah, that was last month in Portugal. I took a bronze medal.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Great feeling to know that, you put in so much hard work over a period of time, and as an athlete there will be times where you don't feel like you've been rewarded. I've been to so many trips where I've trained as hard as I can, I've fought as hard as I can, and still didn't come back with a medal, and it can be demotivating. Like it can knock you back greatly, but it's just about persevering and keeping that motivation and just keep striving forward, because eventually, it will pay off as long as you have faith in yourself. You have faith in your training, you believe in your training, and when it does pay off, it's an amazing feeling because you understand what you've put in to get to that point.
Sure. You come from a very unique family. I think it's symptomatic of modern day Britain. If we look at it from a British perspective, I mean, we have got Europe. People like to call Europe multicultural, but not any other country. As someone like me, born and brought up here as well, multiculturalism isn't quite summed up anywhere else in the world, like it is in England and London in particular. Maybe New York comes a little bit close to it as well, but for me it's London all the way. And I think you're a prime example, your family is a prime example of, you say, universal family as well. And the interesting point is as well, through the discussion, I've just found out that your mother is from Bangladesh as well.
Yeah, she is.
And have you ever been to Bangladesh?
No, I haven't yet.
Okay, but you speak a few words of Bengali,
Yeah,
a little bit as well. And your father, your grandfather, they're from Antigua.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a very interesting mix as well, and I can see it's a potent mix as well. Hence, I can see where you'd have a bit of fire in your belly at the same time, and should we say, in terms of preparation for combat. So that's nice to hear. In terms of your studies, does it affect? Should we say, have you ever found yourself in a situation where your studies are getting in the way of your training, or you've just thought to yourself, right, no, what I'm going to do is going to be study and training, and what I'll do is I'll maybe cut out the social aspects a little bit as well.
Yeah.
How do you juggle and balance everything?
Growing up, my dad, he actually put like a large influence on education. Like always, education always came first. So I actually took a year out in my last year of my A-levels because I felt my A-levels were suffering due to the attention I was putting on sport and karate. So I took about 6 months out just to prepare for my last year of A-levels.
Sure.
Completed my A-levels, got my grades, and then I came back into karate after. So yeah, for me, education's always come first. It's been difficult being at university. So this year, the senior Europeans was in May, and it was the same week as all of my end of year exams. So I had to get them deferred to a later stage, which the university did me a big favor by doing so, but it wasn't ideal. So yeah, it can be hard. Sometimes sacrifices have to be made, but my priority is always education, even though my passion and love is with sport. So yeah.
So looking ahead to 10K Karate Clash London 2017, how badly do you want to participate, but not only participate as well, but make a mark? It's been a long time coming, isn't it?
It has.
So
I want to participate, I want to make a mark, but I want to win also. Like for me, there's no other option. I wouldn't enter it for show. I wouldn't enter it because it sounds nice or just to be a part of the atmosphere. I want to win. I want to win.
And would you see the 10K Karate Clash as a stepping stone towards, hopefully, God willing, achieving Olympic success?
Yeah, 100%. Because it's another large platform to perform on with other high caliber fighters. So even competing at that level regularly, it's always going to be beneficial for your growth and your changing and fighting and the way you move forward. So 100%. Yeah.
Who's your fighting, apart from your dad, we're going to cut him out of this question, who are your fighting role models?
I draw like inspiration from a lot of fighters, maybe not anyone in particular, but I often see things that people do and I'll take it for myself. Like I'll be at a competition and I'll see someone implement a technique or a tactic that I'll like, and then I'll come back, work on it myself. Some say I'm stealing, but I'm just learning, So yeah, I draw inspiration from everyone. Maybe not anyone in particular, but I see people all the time, and it can be people younger than me, it can be female fighters, male fighters, anybody.
It's probably the best way to do it though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Take the best out of everybody you come into contact with, or
make it work for myself.
Make it work for yourself.
Because even when training, sometimes you're taught things, but they don't suit you as a fighter. So I can only do really what feels right for me. But often I'll see other people do things, and I think to myself, I'm not doing that now, but I could do that, and it looks like it would work for me. So I'll take it and I'll work on it.
And whether you like it or not, even at this tender age of 20, you are a huge role model for, should we say, let's just concentrate on the younger generation. You've already touched on it a little bit as well, but can you offer some advice to our young viewers and anybody who may be watching this, who wishes to follow in your footsteps or even emulate you?
Yeah, definitely. Just stay focused. Stay focused. Don't get distracted. There's always time for social. There's always time to play. But when it's time to be serious, you have to be serious, and you do have to be willing to make sacrifices. So like growing up through school, college, university, there are times when your friends are going out. You might not be able to because you have to go to training or you have something to do the next morning. But it's about staying disciplined, and it is hard. It is hard. But as long as you have your goals in front of you and you know what you're trying to achieve, you don't really struggle because you're hungry.
Yeah.
You're hungry to achieve your goals.
Of course.
So
who's your harshest critic?
my father.
Your father. I had an inkling you would say that as well. Do your parents watch you frequently or regularly, occasionally?
Yeah, so when I compete on the international circuit, a lot of the time my dad is there. He's the current national coach of Norway, so he's usually there with another national team.
Sure.
But we often converse and he shares some guidance with me, yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's quite brutish with the feedback.
Can
Dads usually are.
Especially in training as well. In training, because I've been training with him a lot these last 2 years, and a lot of the time it's just me and him. So we just do one-to-one sessions. They can get quite intense, but it's all beneficial. It's all beneficial.
Jamaal Otto will be at the 10K Karate Clash London 2017. We're really looking forward to see him at the Olympics 2020. He's got a glittering career ahead of him as we speak. That's it from me. Thanks for watching The Sports Show.